What have you been doing wrong in the Sylvania Wilderness? While on this hike, we're going to talk about 7 different things that I've seen people doing wrong in the Sylvania Wilderness. And really, I'm going to tell you 6 things I've seen people do wrong. The 7th one came from a Forest Service employee who works out here. So stay tuned. The first item you may be doing wrong in the Sylvania Wilderness, and it's portage carts. Portage carts or portage wheels are not allowed in the wilderness. In fact, no wheels are allowed in Sylvania Wilderness. So that means no bikes, no wagons or carts of any kind. If you bring a cooler in that has wheels on it, technically that's not allowed either. There is an exception for wheelchairs to make the wilderness as handicap accessible as possible, but yeah, no wheels are allowed. Okay, number 2 is drones. It is illegal to take off, operate from within, or land inside the wilderness. I don't know quite the rules if you take off, land, and operate from outside the wilderness, if you can fly over the wilderness or not. But if you do own a drone, make sure you're checking on the rules, the regulations, checking the FAA website for those rules and regulations. But yeah, from inside the wilderness, that's a no-go. I've seen people on videos operating and flying inside the wilderness, and I have also had one encounter while in Sylvania Wilderness where someone was operating a drone. Number 3. Number 3 is trash. It seems like just about every single campsite I come to, whether I'm stopping there for lunch during the day, just checking it out, or I'm actually camping in the site, I am always picking up trash around the campsite. Maybe it's just me, but I was always taught that when you leave a campsite, you do a good grid of the campsite, find all that garbage, pick it up, and haul it out of there. Practice leave no trace principles. And, you know, if you're there in a site, always bring a bag with you to pick up garbage. I try to pick it up anytime I'm there and I've got a bag with me. Pick up all those scraps. Don't try to burn a lot of that stuff. Aluminum foil is not going to burn up. A lot of times those Mylar wrappers aren't going to burn up either. So pick that stuff up, pack it out. If you brought it in, make sure you take it out. And please also, you know, pick up after others while you're there. Let's leave the campsites cleaner than we found them. So number 4 has to do with campsites. In Sylvania Wilderness, all the campsites are reservable during majority of the year, or in the off season now. I believe it's October 1 through May 1st, I believe, is the off season when there's no need to reserve a campsite. They're all first come, first serve. During the summer, they're reservable. All the campsites, or at least most of them, are set a ways back from the lakeshore. As you can see here, I'm sitting at the fire pit and looking out at the lake. You can still see the lake, but we're set back away. Sylvania is a small wilderness, and in order to try to keep that wilderness feel, all the campsites are pushed back so that as you're canoeing along, you see less of people who are in their campsites. It also helps reduce noise, both noise coming from the campsite, and then when you're in a campsite, the noise that's coming from people that are out on the lake. Sites during the season need to be reserved, and you need to be setting up your camp around and close to that fire pit. That is kind of the center of camp. There should be tent pads in that location. What you should not be doing is going down to a flat area near the lake that's far away from that fire pit and setting up down there. Hammock campers seem to be the worst about this. I seem to see way more hammocks set up close to the lake shore than tents, but I know it happens both ways. I'm a hammock camper myself, so I'm not ragging specifically on those people, but from what I have seen, that is probably one of the big ones. And then on the flip side, backpackers, I've seen videos out there of backpackers camping at just off in the woods. Unfortunately, in Sylvania Wilderness, again, due to the size, camping is required to be done at a designated campsite, whether you're canoeing or backpacking. So you shouldn't be going off and just finding a place to set up camp in Sylvania and camping there. These next three all came from a person who has worked as a wilderness ranger here in Sylvania. And so number 5 is glass and metal containers. Some glass and metal containers are okay. Those are the ones that are reusable. So you have a metal water bottle, that's fine, things of those natures. But one-time use containers such as aluminum cans, whether that be beer or soda, glass bottles, again, beer bottles, or pickle jars or things of that nature, and then other metal cans, so can of soup, can of Spam, all those sorts of things, they are not allowed in the wilderness. You can find some alternatives to those things. They do sell things, Spam for example. You can buy that in a plastic or Mylar type bag. Chicken, same thing. Beer, you can buy beer in plastic containers. Soda, you can buy soda in plastic containers. So that's one of those things that I think actually a lot of people potentially do wrong. You know, they'll grab a can of soup and say, oh, I'll bring a can of soup out there to have for a meal. Well, having that tin can, that's not allowed in the Sylvania Wilderness. And for number 6 is group size. The maximum size for a group in Sylvania is 10 for traveling, and the maximum number of people that can be in any one campsite is 6. I ran into a group of canoe and kayakers that were some kind of paddling group from, I think, the Twin Cities area. They were sitting at 15 or 16 all together, and they are all gaggled up on a portage. The other problem is too, if you have a larger group, you have a group of 10, and let's say you get one of the double sites. Once you're in those sites, you can't have more than 6 in any one of those sites. So you know, you can't have the whole group eating all at one site or sleeping all at the other. So it's best to just stay in groups of 6 or less when out in the wilderness. And as I mentioned before, you know, Sylvania is a small wilderness. So the smaller your group, the more of that wilderness experience that you're going to get, and the less likely you're going to take away from someone else's wilderness experience. I just wanted to say, if you've been liking this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you would like to add to the conversation, put that down in the comments. We can have a discussion about it. And then if you would like to see more of my content, you can consider subscribing. That'll mean my videos will pop up in your feed more often. Also, I just want to remind you that there's going to be one bonus item here at the end of this video, so after this one, please stay tuned for one more. And number 7 on my list is not one that I have any experience with, but I'm told that there is a lack of people with wilderness permits. So the wilderness permits, anytime you go into the wilderness, you need to have a permit with you. You can find those permits at any of the trailheads outside of the recreation area. There's a little box that has them and a place to put the card. Or if you're coming in over on the recreation side, there is a self-registration station right there at the entrance station, and what you need to do is grab one of those cards. The top piece of it is blue. Fill out that blue section, tear it off the white card, put the white card back in the receptacle there, and hold on to the blue piece. That blue piece is your permit. If you've registered for camping and you have your reservation on a piece of paper, that does not count as your permit. The permit is separate, and that's that blue piece of paper. The other nice thing is on the back side of that blue piece of paper is some of the rules and regulations for Sylvania Wilderness. So you can check those out. Another way to keep you from making sure that you're not doing something wrong while you're visiting here in the wilderness. I've made it back out to the trailhead and to the car, but I told you I got a bonus one for you. Here it is. I think this one might make people mad. I also think most people are not gonna know this one. So this one has to do with sails. You are not allowed to have a sail or use a sail within the wilderness. That's not just a Sylvania rule, that's a wilderness rule. If you go to the boundary waters, the same rule applies. I can't say I have ever seen anybody in Sylvania using a sail. I'm sure it's happened. I've just never seen it. I have seen it over in the boundary waters before. But yeah, most people don't realize that's a wilderness rule. If you think that's a dumb one, let me know down in the comments. I just want to say thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.